Hi, I'm Tim Bartz, Internet Sales Manager here at McArthur Ford in Salina, Kansas. And in this video we have recorded, it was actually recorded during our live stream that we do this last Tuesday. So, we do a live stream every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central, when we go over scheduling information, dealer news updates, recalls, and usually have a topic of the week and some other things. But more importantly, we answer your questions live, the community's questions. So we usually have about a couple hundred people in there each week that are watching this live and asking us questions about their order or how they should order their vehicle and that kind of thing. And that's what we're here for, is to help you answer any questions. So if you want to join us live and if you have any questions about scheduling, we can answer them live for you. Also, if you drop them down below, we'll try to get those responded as well. But feel free to come back next week. Again, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central, if you want to join us live and ask your question, and we can answer your individual question if it hasn't been answered in the past. So I hope you guys do enjoy this video, and I hope to see you next week. All right. So for this week's scheduling, we actually have some extra stuff this week, because we're going to talk about what's scheduling for this week. But then we're also going to go ahead and talk about what's the Ford's plan for April production, which is start scheduling in a couple weeks with a new reset of allocations for that month for dealers. And so we're going to talk about both. So we'll first go through this week's allocations and this week's scheduling information first, and then we'll get into that. But before we do that, let's go over here and go through some of the terms we'll be talking about. So, all right. So this week, of course, order banks is where the dealer places all orders, stock and retail orders. And a retail order is a customer placed order. So we call it a retail orders in our business. A stock order is where a customer places an order by the dealer for stock or lot inventory. So that happens usually if there's the dealer knows they're going to get some allocations, but they don't have any retail orders. They need to make sure to put some stock orders because regardless, those allocations need to be used. If they don't, Ford will put in some of their own orders. They call them SIM orders. And then we end up taking something that they want us to take, configuration they want us to take. Priority codes, it's priority given a priority a dealer is giving to orders. Retail orders can be anywhere from an 03 to 19, and then stock orders are 20 to 80. As you notice, lower the better. So retail orders always looked at before a stock order. Scheduling, that's when Ford schedules an order for production dates in the future months. That's what we're going to be talking about here, is what Ford is going to be scheduling, what constraints might happen because of that, and when they're scheduling out the orders for this week. Production date, and that is, as we mentioned, they're going to schedule for a date in the future. They'll schedule to the week or to the day when Ford plans to build their vehicle or their order. Allocations. We bring up allocations because Ford gives dealer allocations to schedule the orders. An order cannot be scheduled without an allocation. So if a dealer is out of allocations, they're not going to have any of their orders scheduled. Even if there's orders in there, if they haven't earned any allocations, that order will not get scheduled. And the allocations are earned by sales volume for each model within the region. There's a formula that they come up with: volume, like sales volume minus what's coming in or what's in stock. So like for us, we're not getting any allocations for Maverick because we have over 100 Mavericks that are supposed to show up in February. And based on what we sell, plus what more is supposed to come in, that's why we didn't get any allocations. So there's that's kind of the formula there. Constraints, those are options that may be in short supply or take longer to build. Capacity, that's the planned production rate for a given motor trimmer option. So they'll have a certain capacity. If they have more orders than what their capacity is, that's where that constraint starts to come in play. Jobs 1 and 2, that's production run within a model year. They split those into 2 in case they need to make any changes or introduce a new trim or something different that's not maybe available at the launch of the model year. We're going to actually talk about job 2 on a lot of things here in this part of the video. And then balance out, that's the end of production or balance out for production for a particular option model or maybe even sunsetting the model altogether. There we go. So there's that information. So yeah, there you go. All right. So we're going to talk about, of course, what's scheduling for this week. So the week of February 5th. So this week, that usually happens on Thursdays. And so first, we'll talk about the 24 model year Mustang. So the Mustang has about 992 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. This week, they are not planning to schedule. So there's no notes in here since they're not planning to schedule. And the order banks are open up if you want to order a vehicle, even a dark horse. I would ask your dealer if you're wanting to place a dark horse order that if they have any dark horse allocations. So we've had 2 dark horses show up. We're supposed to get 5 for the year. We don't know when, what month we're going to get those. Usually we find that out close to the beginning of the month. So, all right. And just out of curiosity, I do actually have notes in here of what they made, how many vehicles were built last month. And let's actually just kind of look through this. I might need my glasses for this. All right. So Mavericks or Mustangs, sorry. Where's the Mustang? Oh, it's up here with the cars. Well, where is it? Oh, here it is. Mustang. So, looks like in January, there were 3,771 Mavericks or Mustangs sold in January, which is pretty awesome. There was 4,000 the year before, so it's a little decrease from the year before. And then production, they built 5,926 Mustangs in January, which is pretty cool. All right. Next is the 24 model year Escape. There's currently 502 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, so not a lot in there. They are not scheduling this week, so there's no scheduling notes for the Escape. The order banks are open up if you want to place an Escape, including the plug-in hybrid version. And let's see if I can find this as quick as I did the last one. Here we go. All right, so January production, they made 10,000, or no, we sold 10,889 Escapes last month sold. So that is an increase from the year before. And then production wise, they produced 15,723 Escapes, which is pretty impressive. So pretty good number there. All right, moving to the next one, 24 model year Bronco Sport. 271 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. They are doing cleanup scheduling. So cleanup scheduling means that if there's a dealer has a leftover allocation that needs to be fulfilled, they want to try to clean that up and get the dealer's allocation. So they are going to be scheduling for the weeks of March 4th through March 25th. And there is no scheduling for Badlands until mid-March. Let's see, we actually had notes last week. Because there are several of these that weren't going to be scheduling for the Bronco Sport. So 0% Big Ben and freewheeling with the convenience package. So Big Ben without it and freewheeling without the convenience package would get scheduled, but 0% with the package. 0% black appearance packages are going to schedule, and 0% Outer Banks with the tech package. So if you don't have those extra convenience and tech packages, you could get scheduled. So that's what they're looking for. So just kind of a note on that. Does say limited availability for the black appearance package. We know it's not scheduling based on the notes that we have. Exhaust availability for the Big Ben and the Outer Banks. And then also it says the tech package, which we know they're not planning to schedule. So order banks are open up for the Bronco Sport. So I did have a lot of people say, you said exhausted on the 2-hole EcoBoost. Correct. They don't plan to schedule the Badlands right now. So try to find one of the dealers a lot would be the best case scenario. They're out there at dealers and they should be going sticker or under on their Bronco Sports. And there's some really good incentives on those right now, like 0% for certain terms on that. So let's talk about Bronco Sport. So last month's sales for the Bronco Sport, they sold 9,821 Bronco Sports last month, and they produced, got to find the right plant. There it is. They produced 14,639. So that plant made 30,000 vehicles last month at Hermosillo. That is crazy. We'll talk. Yeah, you guys can do the subtraction for the Maverick because we'll get to Maverick in a second. All right, next is the 24 model year Edge. There is currently 569 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. They are not scheduling this week. And we're going to talk about the order bank in just a second because I believe it's closed now, or it's closing soon. we'll talk about that in just a second. And we get to some dealer news updates. Yeah, it's the Edge is ending, so it's almost over. But how did they do in sales and such? So they sold 7,402 Edges last month, and they made 9,420 and 51. So they actually made less than what they sold. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. Next is the 24 model year Ranger. There's currently 1,747 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. They are not scheduling this week, so they've already planned the vehicles they plan to They plan to build in March already, so they're not going to be scheduling anymore. It looks like for the most part they might change that for next week. We'll just see. Order banks are open up for the Ranger, by the way. If you're wanting to place an order, you should be able to do that. Shouldn't take too long to get one. Again, it depends on dealer allocations versus how many orders they have. And sales, I probably didn't sell a lot of Rangers last month. 303. There are dealers that had 23 Rangers. That's crazy. So 300 Rangers sold, all 23s. Nobody's got 24s yet. But they did make 2,644 Rangers last month. So they just launched and started building those in January. All right, next is a 24 model year Bronco. Currently only 3,734 unscheduled retail orders. Bronco is getting close. It is getting close to being caught up there. They are scheduling this week. They're doing cleanup scheduling. So again, if a dealer has an allocation that they haven't fulfilled yet, they need to fulfill. They'll try to fit that in based on what they have availability. And that's their goal there. Priority scheduling, it does say for Raptor, Heritage, and Heritage Limited. So if a dealer has an allocation, did not get those Heritage and Heritage Limited and Raptor scheduled, they're going to prioritize those for those dealers. Production weeks, the weeks of 4/3 through 4/25. And they actually, if dealers didn't have Heritage Limited orders or Raptor orders in their order system, but they have allocations, then Ford is actually creating orders. So they're generating orders for them to fulfill that allocation. So dealers, if you have one, put something in there will sell, and don't count on Ford putting it in there because you never know what they're going to give you. So, and then other than that, Raptor orders will require a mix in the order bank of 70% with the standard wheel, 30% with the optional wheel. That's a beadlock wheel, and then 50-50 for vinyl and leather. So there you go. Order banks are open up for the Bronco with the exception of the Heritage and Heritage Limited. We actually had somebody this week that had their Heritage come in and they wanted to reorder a Heritage, and we're like, you can't order a Heritage. You might want to take the one that came in for you. All right, let's talk about sales for the Bronco. Broncos sold, there were 7,427 Broncos sold last month in January, and there were 12,143 that were built. So when you think that through, only 3,000 left. Looking pretty good for the Bronco and getting those orders. And also, it's good for people that want to spec order their own Bronco, being able to get one pretty quickly scheduled, right? So you can get that done as well. But look on dealer lots. There's a lot of dealers that actually have Broncos available. Look on those lots, see what they're priced. I mean, we have check out ours. We have a lot of Broncos on our lot that are discounted below MSRP. So look for that, including Raptors. We have Raptors below MSRP, folks. So if you're looking for one of those, no need to order if a color we have in stock will work for you. So, all right. Moving on, 24 model year Maverick. So there is currently 20,358 unscheduled retail orders for the Maverick. They are doing cleanup scheduling. Again, that means if a dealer has an allocation that needs to be fulfilled, they want to try to fulfill that. But it has to fit what they're needing and what they can fit into their production run for March, because they're scheduling for the weeks of March 4th through March 25th. So here are some things that are limited availability. So, and the reason they have this is so that dealers can look and go, okay, I have some allocations that need to be used. What are some configurations that I can get scheduled? And if I don't have a retail order, you might have to put a stock order in to fulfill that allocation. That's just how that works. And so that's what these different exhaustive and limited availability names and the terminology is for. It's for dealers to help fulfill those orders. So limited availability for the hybrid as well as the Ford Copilot 360. That hasn't been in there in the past. It is there for right now for this week. Again, this is just weekly notes here. Exhaust availability for the XL version. Also for it mentions automatic transmission, which they're all automatic, but this is the CC. This is the hybrid transmission. And then the black appearance package as well is in there, listed as exhaust availability. Splash in spray and bed liner. I laugh because it's included in all your lariats. So does that affect your lariats? I said this is going to come back to hot Ford, and it is. Anyway, tonneau cover, hard trifold, the splash guards, and then also the tire that's standard on that's available. It says available on the XL and XLT. I don't know if it's the standard one or the one that's optional. Order banks are open up for the Maverick. I would probably, if I were you, putting in an order, try to stay away from the XL trim. There you go. If you want to get one fast, go to EcoBoost. That might work. Now let's talk about production or sales for the Maverick. By the way, Maverick outsold the Toyota Tacoma in January. Yes, they did that. 12,443 Mavericks were sold in the month of January, beat Tacoma, and they produced 16,269. So again, as I mentioned, that plant built over 30,000 vehicles at the Hermosillo plant. So that is a good plant. They do good quality work as well there. So, all right. And I don't think I already said order banks are open up for the Maverick. Next is a 24 model year Explorer. There's currently 437 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for those. They are not scheduled this week, so that we don't have any notes in here for the Explorer. We're going to talk about the order banks for both the 24 and 25 a little bit later in the live stream. But for those watching just a segment, I think the order bank is closing to 9 for 24 and is open for the 25. Because I forgot people may just watch this and not the other.
So should we be checking with our Explorer order customers and asking if they want their 24 or if they're planning to move to 25?
Dealers should. We don't have any retail orders.
Okay, we're good then.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Just making sure.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about Explorer sales and such.
We had that people do that with the Bronco. They didn't want their 23 anymore.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted the 24.
Explorer sold 18,835 vehicles last month in January, and they produced 21,835 vehicles last month. So that's pretty good. It's a lot. 24 model year Expedition. There's currently 605 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. They are not scheduling this week, so there's no scheduling notes in here to go over. Nothing that needs to be done. Order banks are open up for the 24 model year Expedition. And then let's see how many did they sell last month. They sold 5,466 last month, and they built 9,324. So pretty good. All right. And that's built in the same place as the Super Duty down in Kentucky. All right. Next, 24 model year Mach-E. There's currently 52 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. No scheduling this week either. No scheduling, and it doesn't mention Lightning, but no scheduling for Lightning either. Neither one or E-Transit. No electric vehicles are getting scheduled this week. And the order banks are open up for all versions of the Mach-E with your local dealer. You will not find it on the website. You will not find a build and price or a build to buy on the website for Mach-E or for Lightning, but your dealer can order them for you in their system. So there you go. And then let's talk about sales and such last month. So last month, Mustang Mach-E, they sold 1,295 vehicles last month, and they produced 3,454. So there you go, and at that plant. All right, next, 24 model year Super Duty. I always take a deep breath when I start this. There's currently 20,393 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. They are scheduling at the Kentucky truck plant. They're scheduling for the weeks of 219 through 325. They are not scheduling at the Ohio assembly plant. So, vehicles are going to be built there. It won't get scheduled. It says required orders. It's not saying that they want more. It says required. This is very important. 20 F250s and F350 XL regular or crew cabs with a 6.8 liter engine without the heavy duty alternator and the fifth wheel gooseneck hitch prep package is needed. They need those orders. Please note that the failure to put in a 6.8 liter order will result in creation within the next 2 weeks. So they're gonna give dealers these. So they gotta take. It sounds like they're saying you gotta take them. So we'll see. I know we had some scheduled. So we have some that are getting built because of this. 24 model year XL 6.8 liter gas Super Duty pickups will be excluded from the wholesale availability formula. So it's just kind of telling dealers that normally if you have ones, you have like so long to be able to sell it. If you have vehicles on there, it counts against you for allocations. They're saying now you're given longer before that's going to count against you for allocations. So so dealers feel better about it. So order banks are open up for the 24 model year Super Duty. Some limited availability options is the F550 and F600 chassis cabs. The limited version, the 6.7 Power Stroke diesel engine and the high output diesel engine. The fuel tank that's included with the 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel engine for the XL, XLT, or Lariat F350, 450, 550, and 600s. Also, the 20-inch polished in dark carbonized gray high gloss painted wheel. So those standard on the limited F250 and F350 single rear wheel. That might be why that one's limited availability. Also, the 245/70R 19.5 G tire that's standard on the chassis cab F600s with the XL and XLT is limited, as well as the traction wheel tire, that 19.5 that's optional on the F600 XL and XLT. That's where we're having some issues here. Then we do have the 18-inch machine and painted alloy that's included in the trimmer off-road package is limited availability as well. So if you have that trimmer, know that you may not get scheduled, and there's a likeliness that it may not happen. Also, the other traction tire that's standard on the F450 is also limited availability. The 4x4 front axle that's optional on the F450, F550, and 600 is limited availability. The 17-inch Argent painted steel with the painted hub covers and center ornaments that's standard on XL, F250, and F350, as well as the 18-inch Argent painted steel with the painted hub cover center ornaments standard on the F350 single rear wheel regular cab and optional on the F350 XL is limited. And then the onboard scales and smart hitch, which I hate seeing, is optional on the XL, XLT, and Lariat pickups, is not available with the two-wheel drive. So you want to make sure that's four-wheel drive if you still want that. The 203-inch wheelbase fuel tank with the low sulfur diesel fuel, that is limited. The transfer case that's standard on the F600 4x4 with the 7.3 gas or the 6.7 diesel engine, and the 193-inch wheelbase or 205-inch wheelbase for the chassis cabs. Tailgate step. I haven't seen that. I don't think that one was on here before. Tailgate step, which includes the step and the handle. That's optional on the XL, XLT, and Lariat. That is also limited availability. Lug nut cap for the F250 and 450 pickups with the four-wheel drive, single rear wheel, 20-inch chrome wheel, or the polished and dark carbonized gray painted alloy wheel. And then the camera harness with the rear view camera. That's what you find on those cabin chassis. That's also. So there you go. We got some things there. A lot of those have to do with the bigger trucks. We don't see a lot of things on here for most of the F250s and 350s, but there you go. And, I do want to bring up and kind of take note of here is a lot of people are saying, okay, Ford's pushing these other ones. Why don't they fulfill the other orders instead? Well, the problem is they're probably capped on how many diesels they can make. They only have so much capacity for diesel engines they have a certain capacity for the 6.8, they need more orders because they have a lower number of orders for the 6.8. That's why they need those. They can't make any more diesels than what they have diesel engines, right? So it's kind of like, when you run out of one thing in your kitchen, right? You run out of, you might run out of cheese, but you didn't run out of tortillas, right? But you may not be able to, you might not be able to make it because, you might be able to make bean tortillas, right? But not bean and cheese tortillas, right? It's kind of one of those things. So you might be out of one thing. You can still make the others, right? So in this case, they have the 6.8s they need, but they are out of, they're capped out on how many diesels they have because of how many orders there are. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's talk about Super Duty production and sales. Last month, if I can find it. Oh, they're mentioning all the F series together here. So all F series, they sold 48,702 F-150s and Super Duties, right? So that's pretty cool. That's not including the Lightning. And for production, for Super Duty, they built 38,490. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me go further away. 33,490 Super Duties last month. So there you go. All right, moving to the 24 model year F-150. Currently 5,276 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. They are scheduling for the week of March 25th. And this is 24 model year job 1 balance out. We're going to talk about job 2 in just a second. Cancellations will be shut off on Thursday, February 8th, and then they may need to put some sim orders in. Does say limit availability for the Raptor R. That's the 803A, as well as the 18-inch black painted aluminum wheel. That's wheel 641. And the running boards that's optional on the 101A, 103A. That's also included with the 201A and standard on the 301A and higher classes. So that is also, that running board is a problem there. So anyway, order banks are open up right now. And yeah, we're going to talk about job 2. So if you're looking for that, job 2 is going to be starting real soon. We're going to get into some notes on that, and we get into next month's production in just a second with that one there. And like I said, we already showed what Super Duties were what F Series were sold, but F-150s built was 26,368 F-150s were built last month. Now, lastly, 24 model year Transit. Currently 6,007 unscheduled retail orders. They didn't schedule last week. They didn't really take any retail orders last week either, looks like. They're scheduled for the production weeks of 4/1 through 4/8. So they're already starting to schedule for April. So we're going to talk about that in a second. We encourage dealers to submit orders for the 3.5 liter PFDI V6 engine instead of the EcoBoost. And it also says an electric, the E-Transit. So they need orders for the E-Transit. So there you go. Also, opportunity to schedule trail vans. So if you want the Transit Trail, they need some orders for that. So limit availability for the high roof long van, the high roof long passenger van, the low roof passenger van, the medium roof passenger van, as well as the digital rearview camera, the 5th row bench seats, and the 12-seat passenger configurations. Those are limited. Order banks are open up for the 24 model year Transit. And let's see, how many did they sell last month? So see if I can find that. Transit, they sold 14,191 Transits and 1,121 E-Transits. Forgot to mention the Lightnings earlier, but they sold 2,258 Lightnings last month. We were actually 6th last month in the nation in Lightning sales, by the way. And then let's see here for Transit production, they built 15,646 last month. So just kind of, I don't know if you guys wanted to know that information, but there you go. Now, all right, so that's kind of information on what's scheduling for this week. Now, the next part of this, I want to kind of talk about what's going on for next month, which should start scheduling. We're going to talk about April production dates and what's being produced in April and some of the notes for April production. And so some of the scheduling won't happen for a couple weeks. So we probably they're scheduled this week for March production dates yet, and maybe next week. So so this is coming up pretty soon. So I don't know if next week will be the start of April production dates or not, but let's kind of go over those here for us. It's funny they didn't change the dates in here. This isn't the right ones. That's why. All right. Here it is. All right. Now I got the right notes. That would have been embarrassing to go over all that. Okay, so this is the right notes for April production dates. First, let's talk about the 24 model year Mustang. So they are going to be scheduling for 4 weeks of production, April 1st through April 22nd. Of the production, about 2% of the production will be the California Special. About 45% will be the 5.0 liter GT engine mix. So there you go. That's the national numbers for that. And then Dark Horse, they're going to be scheduling that for 4-week production run as well. And they do say the handling package and the carbon fiber wheel will resume production in April. So that is something they've been holding off and not producing, and is back. So if you have that order, hopefully you get lucky, get scheduled while they are producing that. So there we go. And they don't actually give us the production numbers planned. This time it's all the numbers are blank, so they're not giving us that number like they did last month. All right, 24 model year Escape, they are going to be scheduled for 4 weeks of production as well. 39% the ST line, 0% hybrid, so they're not planning to produce any hybrids in the month of April, and 45% active trim. So between active and ST line, that's almost 100% of their production, or a pretty good chunk number there. I guess it's not 100. You guys could do the math on that. But also, they are planning to schedule Escape plug-in hybrid as well. Though 4 weeks of production, again, no notes on that. There usually aren't any major constraints on the plug-in hybrid. All right, 24 model year Bronco Sport. They are scheduling Bronco Sport for 4 weeks of production. Here is the mix. It says 0% Big Ben and freewheeling with the convenience package. So they must be having some issues with the convenience package. 0% again this month, or for April as well. 0% Big Ben with the black package, and 0% Badlands. So we again, they did tell us on Badlands they weren't going to be scheduling those till mid-March. So we know in February they weren't going to be scheduling them for April. So we're talking May build dates for any Badlands. So hopefully, if you're looking to do a custom order, at this point, you're just going to need to look for a dealer that has an order, because no convenience packages or that. But they did exclude from this what they did last month, which was the Outer Banks with the tech package. That is not listed. So maybe if you're looking for an Outer Banks with a tech package, you can get it scheduled for an April production date. All right. Let's see. 24 model year Edge. It is they're going to be scheduling for April build dates. They should be balancing out that. I believe it doesn't say balance out in here, but we should be getting done. I heard at the end of April was the end of production for Edge completely. 25% SEL trim, 38% titanium trim. So that's looks like that's what they're kind of the mix there, and then probably a percentage of the others. No STs though. Don't forget about that. Next is 24 model year Bronco. They are scheduling 4 weeks of production in April. 75% hardtop. That is up. Normally it's 67%, so that is an increase. More hardtops being built. That means 3/4 of the Broncos being built will be hardtop. So again, no constraints there on the hardtop. 50% the 2.7 liter engine. That does not mean 50% 2.3, because we have the 3.0, right? So a big chunk of 2.7 production as well, and then 30% Sasquatch. So that number is actually down. So if you're looking to get the Sasquatch package, still, even with only 37 orders, I don't think you need to be worried about any configuration for the Bronco. Bronco Raptor, they are scheduling for 4 weeks of production there. 25% marine grade vinyl, 75% leather, 35% standard wheel, and 65% the B-lock wheel on the Raptor. And then Heritage Limited Edition for those dealers that still need theirs built and scheduled. 4 weeks of production for that. 87% two-door, 13% four-door on the Heritage Limited Edition. Again, Heritage Limited Edition, every dealer gets one. So we've already gotten ours. So I kind of throw that out because I know that we're not going to get another one. But all right, 24 model year Explorer. They are scheduling for 3 weeks of production, weeks of April 1st through April 15th. 50% will be XLT. Again, same way it was last month. Stop build on Platinum, ST, and King Ranch without the trailer tow package. So it has to have the trailer tow package if you want a Platinum, ST line, or King Ranch. If you want a limited 300A, it needs to not have the tow package. So it just means the opposite on that one. So it does say stop build on a limited 300A with the trailer tow. So make sure you know that. And we're going to talk about Explorer during the dealer news updates in just a second. 24 model year Expedition. They are scheduled for 4 weeks of production in April. 0% 302A, 18% XLT. Standard wheel available on the Platinum. That has not been available for a while. It is now back available. So standard wheel available on Platinum. And then it says less XLT and more 303A and above. So not sure what that exactly they mean by that. But anyway, there you go. 24 model year Maverick. They are scheduled for 4 weeks of production in April. 55% hybrid, 23% XL, 47% XLT, 30% Lariat. Those numbers have stayed constant for the whole year. So that's exactly what they're going to do again for April production dates. 24 model year Ranger. They're scheduled for 4 weeks of production in April. There's no notes in here whatsoever. Ranger Raptor also scheduled for 4 weeks of production. Again, no notes there either of needing to be done. Next is 24 model year F-150. Scheduled for 4 weeks of production. Job 2 startup in April. And we bring that up because Job 2 is where we're going to see the Tremor as well as the Pro Access tailgate that is available on the bed utility package for the Lariat, as well as the 402A Tremor, and also going to be standard on King Ranch and Platinum. So Pro Access tailgate, if you've been scheduled already, it's not going to have that. So they're going to Job 2 is we don't know when in April that the Job 2 is going to startup is. It just says in here Job 2 startup, but that is good to see that. And hopefully we'll see an order guide on the Tremor pretty soon. F-150 Raptor, they're scheduling for 4 weeks of production. 70% the Raptor, 30% the Raptor 37. And it looks like they're not going to produce a Raptor R in April. So if you're waiting for that Raptor R, take the month off because you're not going to get scheduled. All right. 24 model year Super Duty, scheduling for 4 weeks of production in April again. 84% the 44G transmission, which is standard on the transmission standard on the 6.7 liter engines and the 7.3 liter. Again, they need the 6.8 liter XL and XLT orders. 24 model year Transit, scheduled for 2 weeks of production in April 15th through April 22nd. So we already know they're scheduling this week for the first 2 weeks in April, and then they're going to be scheduling for the allocations for allocations for February will be for 2 weeks of production. Limit availability on the 3.5 EcoBoost, and they need Transit Trail orders. So there you go. And then if you didn't hear them, here are the ones that are not scheduling for the entire month. F-150 Raptor R we talked about, as well as all your Model E vehicles. Mach-E, E-Transit, and Lightning are not scheduling and not producing in April. They're not going to produce one vehicle in April. 24 model year balance out for April will be the Edge and Explorer. So those are going to be balancing out in April. So there you go. There's that. So that is all the information for scheduling for, and as well as for next month too. So